Long after the fact, a man helped a mother lion and her cubs. Alex spent the most of his life in a South African wildlife park, despite being born in that country. The vet had a deep appreciation for nature and the freedom he felt when exploring the Serengeti. The female lion was hiding behind some rocks not far away. The massive magnitude of the beast shocked him, since he had never come so close to an animal in the wild before. In his first state of fright, he pointed his revolver directly at the animal. The lioness would attempt to attack him while he sat there, but all she ever managed to do was snarl. At that point, Alex realized there was an issue. To put it simply, the lioness couldn't harm him. It came out that she had stepped on a trap, and the agony in her foot prevented her from going over than a few steps. Alex was delighted to find himself unharmed, but he was appalled to see such a magnificent creature caught in such a cruel manner. The lion's shackles seemed like the handiwork of poachers, who were no likely planning to return to finish it off and sell everything they could. Alex was outraged by the prospect of the cat being slaughtered for profit and felt compelled to intervene. He tried moving closer towards the lion to see whether he can rescue her from the trap. As he approached, though, the terrified animal rose up and lashed out using one of her enormous paws. When Alex saw that she was getting close, he hurriedly pushed himself back into safety. He had avoided any serious injury, but he also knew that now the lioness would have not welcomed him back, especially because of his familiarity with wildlife. As if that weren't enough, Alex had spotted a second issue. While the female lion was slashing at him, he was aware that her teats were swelled with milks since he had seen them. The lioness probably had babies nearby who wouldn't last long without her. Alex realized he needed to move quickly in light of his new information. Young cubs might easily perish from hunger or dehydration if they were abandoned for too long. Even worse, if they weren't already defenseless, they'd be easy prey for another predator. Together with the lion, Alex still can't go near her since they're bound together. The good guy was left with just one option: to track down the cubs and personally deliver them to the lioness. The good news is that Alex figured they really cannot be that far away, so he looked about and eventually found some footprints. He followed the lion cub's footprints till he heard the mother lioness eating. The mules led Alex to a tall patch of grass where he heard the cries of 3 little cubs. He swiftly scooped them up and headed back toward the trapped lioness. The lioness roared again as she struggled to release herself from the trap and return to her pups. Alex was worried about agitating the mother to the point that she may damage herself, so he laid each cub down carefully. The cubs dropped to the ground and resumed their cries as they made their way toward their mother. Alex spent the whole trek convincing the lioness that he was not out to harm her and was, in fact, attempting to assist her. The lioness relaxed after realizing that he posed no threat, and she lay down to nurse her young when they eventually reached her. Alex stood back to see the happy family reunion, relieved that he had succeeded in returning the cubs to their mother's protection, but still concerned about how he would let the lioness free. Alex first did nothing except sit a safe distance from the animal and reassure her with soothing words. No, irrespective of how long that lion had been held, he knew she had to eat to keep her cubs alive. Assuring the mother large cat that he'd return, Alex hurried back to his vehicle and drove about the region until he found a dead zebra. The courageous guy sliced a huge portion of flesh off the dead animal and returned to the lion and cubs, knowing that even if there wasn't much left on the body, it would give the lioness some of her strength back. The lioness was less aggressive once he returned. In fact, she appeared to be looking forward to the man's return, maybe because he had brought a huge piece of flesh for her to snack on. Alex observed the cat as it licked its lips and grinned knowingly. He then softly talked to the animal and fed it. Slowly, the lioness rose to her feet out of the meat and then began to devour. Alex saw his opportunity when the lioness was preoccupied, so he gently approached her and blasted her with a tranquilizer gun to put her to sleep, before the medication took effect. The lioness' paw was loosened, and he attempted to coax her into the kennel in the back seat of his vehicle, where the 3 cubs were already safely secured. Just totally zoned out there. A shadow came over Alex, but he didn't see that the lion had stopped feeding and moved to within a few feet of him. Alex raised her head slowly and saw the lioness standing only a few feet away. The lioness, however, remained impassively. She was injured and unable to move about effectively, so she had no reason to get upset and launch an assault. Before he put her out for good, Alex pushed her towards the rear of the vehicle. The lioness saw the importance of complying and then did something unexpected. She walked up to Alex and started rubbing her head on them like a domestic cat would before she jumped into the vehicle to go to a Cubs game. After safely securing the lioness in the back of the truck, Alex sped out to the reserve he so much loved, and Alex got in his car and left. What had just occurred left him in a state of awe. He and the other staff at the reserve brought the wounded lioness back to good health and looked after the cubs. Over the course of that period, Alex formed a close relationship with the mother lion and her cub. After a few months, this was time to release the lion cubs back into the wild. In the moments before they decided to part ways, they had gotten rather attached to Alex, so the lioness gave him one final hug. Alex hadn't seen most of the lions he had helped rescue since that awful day, and many years had passed. One more day he saw something really incredible. A pride of cats relaxing beneath the same tree he had previously used to have his meal. A single of the lions turned to look at him as he stopped a few feet away from the group. The animal sprung to its feet as soon as it saw the guy and started trotting out to meet him. Alex was afraid at first, but he didn't need to get mauled by a tiger. As the cat approached, though, he realized that he recognized him. Indeed, it was actually one of the cub he had rescued all those years ago. Alex couldn't believe he'd found him, and he was even more astonished to see that the lion still remembered him. After getting near enough, the lion nudged his head towards Alex, much as his mom had done when he was a baby. After a brief interaction during which Alex touched the animal gingerly and chuckled, the animal retreated and went back to his wife. Alex is overjoyed at the moment. The little cub had not forgotten him or the help he had given to the family. Alex, sensibly realizing he shouldn't overstay his welcome, turned around and headed back for the comforts of his own abode. The male lion let forth a huge roar first, however. Knowing that this was probably a once-in-a-lifetime experience, Alex really could not help but marvel at how quickly and deeply he had connected with the lion. Even though he never got to see them again, he was overjoyed to have had the chance to interact with such magnificent animals. Leave a comment and tell me what you think of the tale. Keep up with the story by and subscribing for more incredible content.